Hello, you're watching news from Kazakhstan on K+. It is Saturday, March 16th. More than $96 million are planned to be spent on combating floods. Up to a quarter of the money will remain in the capital city. Deputy Minister of Emergency Situations Janbalat Ismailov has more from the flooding rescue training exercises.
Deputy Minister of Emergency Situations personally inspected the preparedness of public services for the floods. He also stated that from now on Astana police, medics and firefighters will be on 24-hour duty to timely administer relief at flooded areas. In addition, the snow removal equipment will be used and authorities intend to spend $36.5 million for the snow removal campaign. According to Janbalat Ismailov, flooding touches the South Kazakhstan and Kazakhstan regions. High water is expected in the eastern region of the country, where instead of requested $20 million by the governor of the region, the emergency ministry were able to allocate only $3.3 million. In the capital, the flood peak will coincide with the Nowruz celebration days and may last until the middle of April. Great attention should be paid to the left bank, where Government House and Presidential Palace are located. Most importantly, the city's population must not be affected by the flood. I hope that there will be no utility failures and human casualties. It can happen. Don't say that, there could be issues, so we must be prepared, okay?
Residents of Karkalpak village in southern Kazakhstan, which suffered the most from the floods in January, are asking for a full compensation of inflicted damage. They are convinced officials must have gotten the calculations wrong. The local administration says otherwise, that the money is being paid in full, while complaints are coming from residents who are trying to milk the system.
The flood caught the Kadyrovs family by surprise. Water started rapidly filling the makeshift, where 7 of their children were sleeping. While the head of the family, Ikram, and his wife carried their children to the house, the water reached the knee level. That night, they had no time for their livestock and failed to save the animals. My entire house has cracks now, 158 sheep drowned. Of course, the authorities allocated the money. However, I won't be able to buy anything with that. One sheep costs $165. Large family complains that allocated compensation for lost livestock is pitiful, only $100 per sheep, while the real price is $165. Anar Sametov complains that livestock is the only source of income for her family. The flock of sheep died, the water washed away fences and a barn, and created cracks in the houses. The woman says that the village is flooded annually, yet the local officials don't do anything about it. We already addressed the mayor, and he told us that it is necessary to allocate money from the budget. We haven't been receiving the funds before 2013. What the mayor is thinking of? They come at night and take photos on their cell phones. However, the local administration office assures us otherwise. A specially established commission carefully inspects each house, yet the lack of integrity of villages themselves is simply frightening. According to officials, some residents are ready to pull anything to get a compensation. Some cracks reported to us actually existed even prior to the flood, yet they identified them as newly appeared. Some people have issues with the documents for outbuildings which are partially in place, but we made concessions and prepared the documents for them. The funds are available and the assessment team already gave, provided their conclusion. Therefore, we'll proceed with compensation in the next few days. 4 settlements in Saragash area were affected by flooding on January 11, 2013. The damage equals to over $3 million. Back then, local authorities stated that they weren't going to ask for help from the regional authorities and could cope on their own. However, their enthusiasm and finances was enough only to compensate the owners of 16 houses, whereas the total of damaged houses is 36. According to officials, the remaining 20 families are not entitled to receive an aid.
The Oil and Gas Deputy Minister Berik Tolumbayev is suing the opposition politician Bolat Abilov. The reason behind the lawsuit was an explanatory note left on the Civil Service Agency's blog by an unknown person. To wit, the note was taken down from the website immediately.
The message was dedicated to the deal struck 8 years ago. It was signed between Abilov and Tulumbayev. The latter purchased 49% of shares of Toyota Tsusho-Butia Auto Center for the amount of almost $3.5 million. At the same time, allegedly, there was a verbal agreement by which Tulumbayev transfers almost 5% of shares to the Director General of the Auto Center, Andrei Cherednikov. But Cherednikov didn't receive neither shares nor dividends. For now, it is unclear why Vice Minister got offended by businessman and politician and sued him. Bolat Abilov also has no details. The hearing on the case will be held in Medeo Court of Almaty on March 26. I received a summons to the court, hired a lawyer, and he's currently working on the case. For now, we have not received any documents except the claim, and I'm not sure what his claim is about. I hope that next week we will be able to look and analyze the materials.
Opposition delegates from different regions are arriving in Almaty. This weekend, they will take part in a meeting to hold a referendum. In the meantime, dissenters from the region spoke about the hurdles they faced on the way to the city. Our reporters have the story.
This delegation of activists has just arrived from Mangistar region to represent the Western Kazakhstan at the meeting on the initiation of a referendum. The trip to Almaty was not an easy one for them. We were immensely pressured, so the youth stayed at home. In fact, my son was supposed to come too, but they kept bothering him by asking, "How come you haven't quit the party yet?" They questioned him for 2 days. We barely made it here. Meanwhile, this hotel will be hosting the delegates from Aktobe and Kızılırda. The exact number of delegates is kept secret since organizers are concerned about pressure from the authorities. Not all could make it to Almaty thanks to the intervention of authorities. The departments for internal politics of regional and city administrations were brought into play. Mainly the staff of the city administration worked very actively to prevent our departures. For instance, they tried to change the minds with job opportunities and even removed 2 activists from the train at the train station in Karmanchik district. According to Social Democrat Amirshan Kasanov, the organizational committee anticipated such actions from the beginning. However, they have prepared a B plan to secure the quorum despite any challenges. The authorities are naive if they believe that we expected only these delegations. We have prepared an alternative plan which I would prefer not to disclose until our tomorrow meeting. The meeting to discuss the referendum initiative will be held in the Kazakhstan Concert Building on March 16. There are 4 questions on the agenda of referendum: the election of governors, the construction of nuclear power plant in Aktau, the exit from the customs union and the common economic space, and the nationalization of the country's leading companies.
The Almaty Administrative Court convicted on 3rd try a participant of a protest campaign against rising public utility rates and fined him to $230. Khalihan Abdilkhan is unemployed, and his disability bonuses will clearly not be able to cover the administrative fine. Details in the story.
This singing man's name is Khalilkhan Adilkhan. He is 51 years old and he is an experienced rebel. In 1986, he participated in the December events and a year ago was spotted at the Dissenters rally. The latest rally that Adilkhan participated in took place on March 1st when he protested against increasing prices for utilities, food, gasoline and public transportation. It's unbelievable. They stole all the wealth of Kazakhstan. The authorities in Astana are fat as pigs. They do nothing for the people. The reason we still live in poverty after 23 years of independence is because they embezzle billions. Judge Janna Nurgalieva held a hearing face-to-face with the defendant. The court found Adilkhan guilty of breaking public laws and ordered him to pay a fine of $230 for participating in an unauthorized rally. The man is unemployed because he is deaf. He lives off of a tiny allowance. I am unemployed, but I'll earn that amount somehow over the summer. Sometimes I work as a musician and a host. I used to be involved with music in my youth. This fine had an effect on Adilkhan's political views. He is planning to demonstrate his vocal skills on May 1st. He promised to gather half of the female population of Almaty. Khalilkhan doesn't support the fact that wealthy, high-ranked males decided to make retirement age equal for men and women.
From now on, officials whose subordinates are accused of corruption will have to leave their posts, says the ruling party. The initiative has been recently signed into law, but the idea is nowhere near new. It was long nurtured by Nuratan Party's leading fighter against corruption, Oralbay Abdikarimov. However, it appears the senator's party fellows are not too welcoming of the innovation. Here's why.
Senator Oralbay Abdikarimov became the focus of public attention as his initiative was finally reshaped into a bill. At the meeting of the main anti-corruption agency, he was the guest of honor. Nuratan Party introduces a new bill whereby the head has to resign if an employee is caught at taking bribe, and the top management will have to decide whether to accept the resignation or not. Senator Abdukarimov said that so far very few officials have voluntarily resigned their posts due to their employees' bribe-taking. According to the financial police, the resignation of Nurlan Rakhmetov, ex-chairman of the State Tax Committee, didn't curb embezzlement and bribe-taking in the agency, though. Thus, as many as 90 tax collectors were caught at receiving bribes last year. In some cases, the amount of bribes ranges from $100 to several $1,000s. Being heavily criticized, the current chairman of the State Tax Committee, Anwar Jumadildayev, had nothing to tell in his own defense. However, he told the reporters that he is not going to resign, as his predecessor Nurlan Rakhmetov once did. Moreover, he expressed his concerns about a high staff turnover caused by extremely low salaries rather than bribe-taking cases. Nowadays, many of our employees leave for work in private structures. As chairman, I have to sign their resignation notices whereby a low salary is stated the main reason. Before 1991, we were paid competitive salaries. The employees were even given bonuses from the agency's fund. Unfortunately, now we don't have any of these opportunities. Anyway, such officials as Anwar Jumadildayev, which agency is said rampantly corrupt, may soon have a hard time once the ruling party's bill is introduced in the parliament. But experts note that even if the bill is passed and signed by the president, indiscriminate resignations are unlikely to occur, as the majority of officials are the members of the ruling party.
The border guard, whose detention 5 months ago led to a scuffle between the border services and the financial police, was convicted in Pavlodar. The Urlyutobe border post soldier Marat Makatov, accused of taking a bribe, was convicted to 7 years in prison with confiscation of property.
To recap, the incident at Kazakh-Russian border occurred in October last year. Financial police tried to detain the controller of the border checkpoint Urlyutobe red-handed. However, colleagues of the serviceman stood up for him, which resulted in a brawl between the two groups of law enforcement representatives. As a result, a criminal case was initiated against Marat Makatov. After all, on Friday, the military court of Semey Horizon sentenced him to 7 years in jail. Relatives of the defendant disagree with the verdict. They are confident that Marat is just a scapegoat. Most likely someone called from top and ordered to make Makatov a scapegoat. It doesn't matter now whether he took the bribe or not. They're just trying to blame it on the border officials.
Head of East Kazakhstan region's construction company went on an indefinite hunger strike. Konstantin Lippert has not eaten in more than a week in protest against officials that refuse to commission the school built by his company. The businessman says he will go without food until the authorities change their minds. In the meantime, the children whom the school was built for are forced to study in a half-ruined building. Our correspondent attempted to find out when and if they'll be able to sit at their new desks.
Medical workers have recently paid a lot of visits to Konstantin Lippert. Doctors are worried about the condition of a man who has been living on nothing but water for over a week. The blood pressure is 150 by 90 on both hands. He didn't make any complaints. Perhaps he's just keeping it to himself. The head of the construction company had to go on hunger strike because of the officials who refused to commission the school built by his company, according to the state program 100 Schools, 100 Hospitals. Lippert company built one of 100 schools in Akainar village. However, officials refused to issue an acceptance certificate for a new school in a remote settlement where children have to go to a half-damaged wooden school with furnace heating. I couldn't find the right resources to put the school into operation, and I decided to resort to extreme measures. Hunger strike as an extreme measure didn't bring the needed results. The reason for a refusal to commission the building were the construction materials used by Lippert's company. At first, the officials approved of design changes, but later said that no changes could be accepted. Administration officials state that it is solely the fault of the contractor that the school is still empty. I read in the news about Lippert's hunger strike. He says that he is concerned that children can go to school. But the school is being built and children will soon go to a new school. His fault is not turning over the project on time. Meanwhile, children for whom the school was built in the first place do not care who is to blame. They continue studying in the old building with dreams of new and nice classrooms equipped with computers. Children in Astana go to new school. We also want to study in the new and nice schools. City administration officials promised that the school would be commissioned and put into service shortly. Konstantin Lippert intends to continue the hunger strike until the building is issued an acceptance certificate.
Another family of shareholders in Astana was evicted on Friday. Nazirke Kilibayeva lost her case and court marshals forced open her apartment door. Our colleagues witnessed the drama and submitted this quick report.
This family became a target of one apartment per one owner government decree. In 2006, relatives of Kildibayevs redeemed 2 apartments in Egalite housing estate. The city administration, however, redistributed the apartments where Nazirke and her children lived and gave it away to Astana resident Irina Volovikova, who had no apartment previously. Both sides are in continuous litigations. Nazirke keeps her door shut, while Irina demands immediate eviction. We will not open the door, we will seal everything and leave it here. Listen, take these things away now. Aren't you going to return our belongings? Take them away now.
Spanish realtors are ready to solve Kazakhstan's housing woes. After the 2007 crisis, the price per square meter dropped in Europe, and now Kazakhstanis are touted to buy homes in the range of 35,000 to 60,000 euros. That considering the fact that wealthy Kazakhstanis have been investing in the EU's real estate market for years.
At the real estate and investment exhibition, the European realtors are offering Spanish chalets, townhouses and apartments as real estate investment opportunities. The vice president of European Real Estate Federation, Ramon Riera, came to Almaty from Barcelona, and according to him, following the financial crisis in 2007, the real estate prices went down to 50%. Thus, 90 square meter apartment in Spain could be bought for 70,000 euros, while in Turkey the price is even lower, 30,000 euros. Currently, Spain is popular not only in terms of owning a property or business there, but also a place to live. We have influx of buyers from Russia as well as from Kazakhstan. That's what statistics reveals. In addition, we have so many students from different countries. It is likely that they will remain in Europe to live. According to the National Association of Realtors, real estate prices in Kazakhstan are steadily growing. In March of this year, it was estimated that 1 square meter in Almaty costs on average $2,000. The real estate prices will continue to rise since the demand is greater than supply. Therefore, Kazakhstan citizens turned their attention to the foreign housing markets. We have real estate projects abroad that annually offer 26% return on investment. This fact makes them very lucrative, and therefore capital will flow in that direction. Businessmen are, of course, the main consumer segment. Even the apartment buildings built from the steel containers at the outskirts of Almaty enjoyed great demand. 75 families who live in the family-type dormitory pay on average $200 for the rent of 30-meter square room. Please step outside, you can film here. Yes, it's a family-type dormitory, please step out. The state has been implementing the affordable housing program for a while. However, judging by the pace of construction and prices in the local real estate market, the affordable housing could be found not in Kazakhstan but in Europe.
The world marked Consumer Rights Day on Friday, and our colleagues attempted to find out whether Kazakhstanis need to rejoice or feel aggrieved about the fact in the following report.
Single parent Irina Sapakova fell victim to fraudsters. 6 years ago, she took a loan against her apartment, but $100,000 went to an intermediary. According to Irina, the bank didn't even bother to check her paying capacity, although it should have alerted that the citizen had already had a loan. For the last 3 years, Irina has been trying to get back her property. According to the deputy of the lower house of parliament and the part-time head of the Consumers League, Svetlana Romanova, the domestic consumer is not protected from risk. The official's notion to set up a structure for those whose rights have been violated irritates her. We don't need another government body, we have plenty of them. To be exact, 38 government bodies that are protecting consumer rights. The question is, are they really effective? Sergei Akimov, head of Kaspotrebnadzor, thinks that citizens are not always defending their interests. People don't want to go through the troubles, they prefer to lose $5 or even $20 and just forget about it. On International Consumers Day, Irina Sapakova doesn't know whether she should be happy or sad. Any minute people may come knocking on her door with an eviction notice.
An unusual rally took place in Pavlodar on Friday. On the central streets of the city, local police officers displayed smashed vehicles that were involved in road accidents.
The battered cars were loaded on a tow truck to tour the city. According to authorities, the evidence must influence the minds of Pavlodar residents, and they hope that this will decrease the number of people who violate traffic rules. Both drivers and pedestrians cause traffic accidents in Pavlodar lately. As policemen say, often the car crash statistics resembles the battlefield reports. As of today, we've registered 115 road accidents in Pavlodar region with 16 casualties, 154 injured. 8 accidents were caused by drunk drivers with 13 persons injured.
Former lower house parliamentarian Bakhit Sazdykova fought fire with fire by organizing a Harlem Shake dance in support of expelled Kazakhstan students. The campaign was held on Thursday evening in one of the central malls in Astana. As always, our colleagues were among the audience. They have more in our final story.
Hello, I decided to wear a mask already. Hello. Bright mask, a wig and Israeli jewelry. This is how the former MP Bakhit Sazdykova decided to dance a Harlem Shake in the center of Astana. It's so uncomfortable and hot wearing a wig. This event was organized in support of the Kazakhstan freshmen Kairat and Eldar. The students of KSTU danced the Harlem Shake on the desks in their university. They were later expelled as the patriotic stand happened to be behind their backs during their provocative performance. This Harlem Shake dance meant nothing. They danced and posted it on the YouTube waiting to receive as many likes. In fact, they have received some. Bakhit Joutikov, the representative of one of the departments of Ministry of Education and Science, already supported the so-called strange decision. However, Bakhit Sazdykova believes that it is not over until the Minister Zhumagulov says so. As the government member and Nuratan party member, the minister simply has no choice but to respond to requests of the youth and enroll them back to the university. I believe this is going to be a very good example of humane treatment of people because it's very rare in our country. Despite the large number of people who responded to the flash mob initiative, only a few showed up in a shopping center. Nadia Petrova happened to be a passerby, and once she found out what was going on, she immediately supported the idea. Along with her university mates, she has already danced the Harlem Shake. She says that all teachers liked it. We should keep up with the rest of the world. Kazakhstan is a decent country and it's not isolated. We live in the world with its fashion trends. We're doing it because we like it and support this fashion. In the end, there was about 20 people gathered. The older audience seemed to be quite confused, while the youngsters had a blast. After a long preparation, the Harlem Shake dance finally took place.
That is all we have this week. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to tune in to Vlast KZ on Monday. Goodbye.